Introduction. The Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA, the federal law concerning the education of students with disabilities, requires schools to provide parents of a student with a disability or adult students with disabilities with a notice containing a full explanation of the procedural safeguards available under the IDEA and U.S. Department of Education regulations. A copy of this notice must be given to parents or adult students only one time a school year, except that a copy must be given to parents or adult students, 1. Upon initial referral or parent request for evaluation. 2. Upon receipt of the first state complaint and upon receipt of the first due process complaint in a school year. 3. When a decision is made to take a disciplinary action that constitutes a change of placement, and 4. Upon parent or adult student request. 34 CFR Section 300.504a. Both you and the school share in your student's education. If you or the school has issues or concerns about your student's education, you and your student's teacher should openly discuss the issues. If you are not satisfied with these discussions, you should contact the Special Education Director for your school district/charter school. We urge you to be actively involved in your students' education. As parents of students who are receiving special education services, or who may qualify for special education services, you have certain rights or procedural safeguards under federal and state laws. These rights are listed in this Procedural Safeguards Notice. This list of your rights must be given to you in your native language or in a communication method you can understand. If you would like a more detailed explanation of these rights, please contact the principal at your student's school, a school administrator, the special education director, or the Utah State Board of Education Special Education Services section. More information is available on the Utah State Board of Education Special Education Services website, https://schools.utah.gov/special-education. Explanations of abbreviations used in this notice. FAPE-free appropriate public education. IDEA Part B of the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. IEP Individualized Education Program. Lead Local Education Agency. All Utah school districts, the Utah Schools for the Deaf and the Blind, and all Utah public charter schools that are established under state law that are not schools of and within a school district. Use PSER Utah State Board of Education Special Education Rules. Use Utah State Board of Education. The term day means calendar day, unless otherwise indicated. Contact information. The Utah State Board of Education, Special Education Services Section 250 E500S. P.O. Box 144200, Salt Lake City, Utah 841144200, 801-538-7587. Laws, State Rules, and Policies page. https://schools.utah.gov/special-education/resources/loss rules regulations. The Utah Parents Center. 230 W200S, Suite 1000, Royal Wood Office Plaza, Salt Lake City, Utah 84101, 801-272-1051 or 1-800-468-1160. Toll free. Utah Parent Center website. http://www.utahparentcenter.org. The Disability Law Center. 205 and 400 W. Salt Lake City, Utah 84103. 1-800-662-9080. Voice, or 1-800-550-4182. TTY. Disability Law Center. http://www.disabilitylawcenter.org. Center for Parent Information and Resources. Parent Center Hub website. http://www.parentcenterhub.org. Annual Parent/Guardian Notices. Child Find. Special Education Departments and Local Education Agencies, LEAs, throughout the state are attempting to contact persons with disabilities between the ages of birth and 21 in compliance with federal law, which mandates the provision of free educational programs and/or services for such persons. If a student is having significant difficulty with vision, hearing, speech, behavior, is experiencing slow development which is not typical for his/her age, has physical impairments, or learning difficulties, he or she may be a student with a disability. If you know of any student whom you feel may qualify for these services, including students suspected of having a disability, even though they are advancing from grade to grade, in a private school, is homeless, or migrant, Please contact the principal of your school or the special education office for the school district in which you reside. Carson Smith Special Needs Scholarship. The Carson Smith Special Needs Scholarship provides tuition assistance for qualified students with disabilities enrolled in eligible private schools. Prospective applicants may view detailed program information at the Carson Smith page on the USP website. https://schools.utah.gov/special education/resources/scholarships. Notification of rights under FERPA. The Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, FERPA, affords parents and students who are 18 years of age or older certain rights with respect to the student's education records. These rights are: 1. The right to inspect and review the student's education records within 45 days after the day the LE receives a request for access. 2. The right to request the amendment of the student's education records that the parent or eligible student believes are inaccurate, misleading, or otherwise in violation of the student's privacy rights under FERPA. 3. The right to provide written consent before the LE discloses personally identifiable information from the student's education records, except to the extent that FERPA authorizes disclosure without consent. 4. The right to file a complaint with the U.S. Department of Education concerning alleged failures by the LE to comply with the requirements of FERPA. The contact name and address to file this complaint is Family Policy Compliance Office, U.S. Department of Education, 400 Maryland Avenue, Southwest, Washington, D.C. 20202. Medicaid Annual Notification under 34 CFR Section 300.154d, 24. The regulations implementing the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act, IDEA, afford parents eligible students certain rights with respect to and LEA's ability to access private insurance or public benefits, such as Medicaid, to help pay for certain services that are provided at school. These rights are as follows. 1. You have the right to receive notice in an understandable language. The LE must give you an annual written notice of your rights, which must be written in language understandable to the general public, and also provided in the native language of the parent or other mode of communication used by the parent, unless it is clearly not feasible to do so. 2. Your student's confidential information cannot be disclosed without your consent. Parental consent must be obtained under the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, FERPA, regulations at 34 CFR Part 99 and the IDEA regulations at Section 300.622 before the LE discloses, for claiming purposes, your student's personally identifiable information, PII, to the agency responsible for the administration of the state's public benefits or insurance program, for example, Medicaid. 3. Your student has a right to special education and related services at no cost to you. This means that, with regard to services required to provide a free appropriate public education, FAPE, to an eligible student under IDEA, the LE, A, may not require parents to sign up for or enroll in public benefits or insurance programs in order for their student to receive a FAPE. B, may not require parents to incur an out-of-pocket expense such as the payment of a deductible or co-pay amount incurred in filing a claim for services provided pursuant to this part, but may pay the cost that the parents otherwise would be required to pay. C, may not use a student's benefits under a public benefits or insurance program if that use would I, decrease available lifetime coverage or any other insured benefit. 2. Result in the family paying for services that would otherwise be covered by the public benefits or insurance program and that are required for the student outside of the time the student is in school. 3. Increase premiums or lead to the discontinuation of benefits or insurance, or 4. Risk loss of eligibility for home and community-based waivers, based on aggregate health-related expenditures. 4. You may withdraw consent at any time. Once you've given consent for disclosure of confidential information about your student to the agency responsible for the administration of the state's public benefits or insurance program, for example, Medicaid, you have a legal right under the FERPA regulations to withdraw the consent whenever you wish. 5. If you refuse consent, or withdraw consent, the school district still has to provide required services at no cost to you. If you refuse to provide consent for the disclosure of personally identifiable information to the agency responsible for the administration of the state's public benefits or insurance program, for example, Medicaid, or, if you give consent but then later withdraw consent, that does not relieve the LE of its responsibility to ensure that all required services are provided at no cost to the parents. Required services are provided at